I think I've been to Nigeria the last few years quite a bit. The first time I went was in the 80s with Benson Idahosa. That's when you were only a little boy. There's one thing I don't like about what you said. It makes me feel old. I wish you did not say you were 14 or 16. I think, oh Lord, why did they have to remind me? I want to tell you just a few things about my experiences with Benson. How many of you heard of that man of God? Okay. How many have not? You have not. Well, he was very, very, very powerful. So when I was with him, I was there for 2 weeks in the 80s, mid-80s. We were in Lagos, Ibadan, Kaduna, and it was powerful what God did. But that man of God, very anointed, like beyond what I've seen in my lifetime. Truly. I had him come speak for me in Orlando, and he said, and I was just reminded by someone who saw the clip. He was preaching for me. He would wear these beautiful robes, and he gave me one every day. I looked like the Pope. One day it was a blue robe, the next day it was yellow, the next day it was green and yellow and blue. And it was wonderful because it was so hot in the meetings that all to do to get cool is just do this. Get some air flowing, you know. But Oral told me this now. I didn't see this part. But the president of Nigeria at the time had said to Benson, he said, we need rain. We have not had rain. Now, Oral Roberts was with him that day in Nigeria. And he said to the president, you will have rain in 2 hours. It had not rained for months. He said, you will have rain in 2 hours. And Oral said it poured in 2 hours. You just don't see that. But that man, I will never forget. He prayed for a young man with asthma. We were sitting at what is called you were with me, a phone center. A phone center is the old things where you put all the plugs in the old-fashioned stuff, so you had to wait a little while before you got a call. So this young man comes in, gets on his knees and says, Papa, I have asthma. And Benson said, open your mouth, and he did. And I never seen this in my life. He slapped that man. He says, you're healed. And he just slapped him like hard. Wham! And guess what? The asthma was gone. That was the first time I ever saw a man slap anybody, and they got healed. Wow. But anyways, he was bold in the Lord. But the most amazing thing we saw with him, Jim, come here a second. You were there. They probably won't even believe this one. Jim Sornero has been with me how many years now?
December will be 37 years.
He's a saint, this man. So we are flying to Kaduna. We get to the airport, and how many of us were together with him? 10 of us, or maybe more. He gets to the airport. Now, nobody has a ticket. Not one of us has a ticket. He gets to the airport. He stops the plane from flying out to Kaduna. A plane was ready to take off, full of passengers. He goes to the pilot. He says, you're not going anywhere. And he kicks all the passengers off the plane.
Huh? He said, you, go.
And they went. And they all went. He kicked them all off the plane. He says to us, come on, take the first class cabin. So we filled the first class cabin. And then he goes down, and there's a line of people that had been kicked off by him. And he says, you go, you go, you go, you go, you go. And they fill the plane. Then he says, you go home. There was a few of them that could not get in. He looks at the pilot and says, now you can take off. I thought, what power this man has. He controls the airport. Things like that. So it was quite interesting, I must say. But he's in heaven now, and he left his impact on all of us.